If you ever see smoke in my videos, it's because I use incense and I have it burning in the background like that. So, all right, today I'm going to talk about copyright. I'm going to try to make this easy because sometimes people ask me in class, sometimes people ask me like copywriting, like music, licensing. So, because it's complicated. And yeah, you get these rights and you got all this stuff, right? But stuff still happens. That's why I say just do it this way so you can get it done and you don't have to worry about like the complications that are involved in all of this stuff. So copywriting, what does that mean? Like copyright, let's look it up. Let's look up the definition of copyright. Copyright. All right, so I'm gonna do a screen share, right? Copyright is, here we go. Copyright is a type of intellectual property that protects original works of authorship. As soon as author fixes the work in a tangible form or expression. In copyright law, there are a lot of different types of works, including paintings, photographs, illustrations, music compositions, sounds, recordings, computer programs, books. There's a lot of stuff that people have the right to, and you don't have the right to copy or use unless you kind of get permission or something like that, right? So that's the definition of copyright. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because one of my colleagues, Sheila, she asked about this software that I typically like to recommend for like easy video editing. It's called WeVideo. It's really good. It's a really great software for beginners, right? It's really good if you just want to get some videos done quick and dirty and you want to get it out. There's also another one that I highly recommend that's free called Copywriting, and that one is really good as well. And they also have like licensing and allow you to use stuff, right? So copywriting, we looked at the definition here. You see what that is? It's this, you can read it later. Now, Sheila asked in one of our groups, she is like, why would, let me go to the Facebook. She's like, why would this software, right? If you have the license to use the software, why would they still copyright strike you, right? And in this case, it's YouTube. Why would YouTube still copyright strike if you had the license or the right to use music? So it's a little bit complicated, and I'm going to try to break it down in a way that really makes sense. So I'm going to answer Sheila's question, then I'm going to ramble. So for the people that want to get the answer right away, the bottom line is that all of the platforms have different licensing agreements, and all of that stuff is not always caught up. So as an example, we're talking about WeVideo. WeVideo gave you the licensing and the right to use their music and their software and all of their stuff in there, but YouTube doesn't know that, right? YouTube just knows that you're using somebody's music and they have complicated algorithms, right? AI intelligence that's going to, hey, this music sounds familiar. This company did this song, and I know automatically that this company and these people own the rights to this music. So I'm going to strike it automatically and immediately, so nobody can sue us at YouTube, right? We don't want you to sue us at YouTube. We get sued enough, so I'm going to copyright strike it so somebody else can worry about that problem and worry about those issues. So, copyright. Look, I'm losing my train of thought. So that's why they do that, right? Now, the reason why it's frustrating is because you made an agreement with whatever particular licensing or software that you're using. You made that agreement, but you only made that agreement with that platform, right? So in this instance, we only made an agreement with WeVideo. YouTube is still unaware of that agreement. And even if they are aware of that agreement, they are they'll shut you down first, and then it's like ask for forgiveness instead of permission. So normally what you do is you challenge it and say, hey, I have the licensing and the rights to use this. And they want to see some kind of data. A lot of times you can say, yeah, they gave me the right. WeVideo gave me the right. A lot of times you can do that. But a lot of times they want to see something in writing and some kind of paper or some kind of documentation. So when you sign up for a licensing software or an agreement, is typically you want to read through all their stuff and whatever. And basically when they give you those rights, YouTube needs to see that. And it's not just YouTube, it's also Facebook. So what's an alternative, right? What's an alternative to these issues? An alternative to these issues is each platform has different each platform has their own licensing and music in there, right? And I'm going to show you a little bit later. But each platform has their own, and this is the alternative. This is why I always tell people, typically stick to one platform, use everything in that platform, do that stuff. And then once stuff start to get complicated and you get more familiar, you start to understand things, then you can start to do some stuff, right? So as an example, I would probably use YouTube, and then when it's time for me to edit and I get more familiar with editing, I would then go over to video, and then I would worry about those complications of them copyright striking the music that I have a right to use, even though then I would worry about that, even though I had the right to use that, right? So that's why I always tell people, like especially when you're first starting out using video and learning this technology stuff, that's why I say don't worry about any of that stuff. Just go right on the platform, whatever it is that you're using, and do that. So now let me show you on my screen, right? Let me show you for people that's interested in like free music and copyright stuff. I'm going to try to show you YouTube. I'm going to try to show you Facebook. And then I'm also I don't use video anymore. So I'm probably going to try to show you Kapwing and the licensing and copyright that you get within there, right? So Facebook, the copyright and the licensing, that means like you're allowed to use this stuff. So as an example, I'm going to do a new incognito window. Let's do our full screen here. So I'm going to do a new window. Let's just act like we're brand new on the internet. Right, as an example. Oh no, we actually can't do that, but I'm gonna do a new tab. We're gonna act like we're starting fresh. I'm signed into YouTube. Most people should know how to sign into YouTube. I'm gonna go to YouTube. I'm gonna go to Google, and I want to tell them YouTube audio library. And you could kind of only get here when you're signed in, so that's why I'm keeping it like this. But YouTube has an audio library that has a ton of music, right? And that means, guess what? This music is automatically already approved, and you don't have to go through licensing and proving to YouTube that you have the right and the license to use this music, because guess what? It's embedded directly in their platform. And the same thing would go for Facebook, right? If you were streaming and making Facebook your main platform, they have a library and you just stick to that music, essentially, right? Furthermore, the cool thing about each of these is that you can download the music from either platform. So I'm going to go into YouTube, right? The YouTube audio library. You have to be signed in. And here you go. I come in and I pop over to YouTube, and they have, let me minimize this, and let me bring up my cursor highlighter for you. And they have, I don't know how much they got, but they got 1,000 and something pages, I guess, right? 30 rows per page. I do 100 rows per page. So if I scroll all the way to the bottom, this number right here, you see down here, that's a lot of music. You're bound to find something in there that makes sense for you out of 2,700 files, right? So the platforms pretty much have whatever you need within them. It's no need for you to get fancy and overcomplicated, right? Just use what you already have. So YouTube right here, this is the audio library. If YouTube is giving you issues, you will pop into YouTube and use their audio library, right? So you don't have to worry about those complications. Or something you can do is you put the music inside of the video, and then later on, like you use this music. Oh, maybe you don't like that music. It's not the best. Use this music, and then later on, when you get your copyright and the licensing resolved, you go back and use that music. But this is the YouTube audio library. You pop in here and you can use this music wherever you want. You can use this music whatever platform you want to use it on, you can use it on. So let me go to the YouTube audio library, and let's see if we can get the and they even have sound effects. So this is the link to the YouTube. This is the help page. I'm going to pop it in the, how do you pop it in the chat? So I'm going to pop this in the chat. Look at that page, and that page will give you a brief of what you can do with this music. So they have an audio library, they got music, and they also got sound effects. Whatever you need in YouTube. I'm not too sure about Facebook. We'll see when we get there, but this is everything that you need. they allow you can download this music, right? And then you can take it to whatever platform or editing thing that you're using. And this will help you avoid the copyright stuff. They already got music that's already approved by them, right? Because they don't care what agreement that you have outside of them. They don't know what's going on with that. And you can't really blame them with as much as people snitching. Oh, he did that. That's my music. That's my content. Can't blame them. I would do the same thing. So that's the YouTube audio library. This is the help page. Let's go back to the library. So again, you got all this content in here. You have the right to use all of this on YouTube. And right here, you can see, you can click download. There is, if you ever watch my videos, like early on, I had a song, what was it called? That I really liked, that I would download. Darn, what is that name of that called? I forget the name of it, but I just downloaded that music. Man, what's the name of my damn song that I like? Distant Love, right? Let me see. That's the name of the song. It was a hip hop beat. So let me search for it. So this was the music that I would use, Calm, because y'all know I'm a boring guy, right? Calm. And I would just download this, and you see I hit the download. I hit in the downloads, and I get the MP3. The full MP3 is about 2 minutes and 51 seconds. And that means I can use it on whatever videos that I use. So it would be like, for me, the same boring music over and over and over again. So what? I'm getting it done. Like, I don't need to be all fancy like other people, right? Trying to be fancy and you don't get stuff done, right? Simple is easy. So I would use that same music. But you can do the same thing with any file inside the YouTube audio library. They have 2,000 pages of content that you can just use, right, as music. I don't know where the sounds are. Let me see. Mood, generous. Oh, here we go. Sound effects. So we got music here. We got sound effects. And then you got starred. Starred is where if you click something as your favorite. So let me go back to Distant Love. And, I already got a star on it. So they got sound effects, kids playing, truck driving, they got all these sounds and effects for you. But they got all these sound effects and they got all this music. You can use it right in here, and you won't have to worry about them copyright striking because it's in their library already. You have the right to use it. This is starred. I don't know how some of this stuff got started, but let me unstar it. So that's the YouTube audio library. Now, let's go to the Facebook audio library. Creator is what I know it as. And I'm pretty sure, now that I think about it, that they have I think they have sound effects too. So, all right, theirs is called the Facebook Sound Collection. If I click on that, you do have to sign in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this new incognito window, and I'm going to go over to Facebook and paste that right in there. The same thing, and I'm picking these platforms because they're the most popular. This is the Creator Studio in Facebook. I'm not super familiar with this. I don't use this interface a lot. I use YouTube a lot. YouTube is my baby. I like YouTube. I stick to YouTube generally. So this is everything here. We got file management, assets, blah, blah, blah. And then we got all this music for you. Man, I don't even know what's going on here. I haven't been here so long, but let's check sound effect. And oh, there we go. Then we got the sound effects. So you got tracks here, and you also got sound effects directly here in YouTube. How much do they have? I mean, this is Facebook. All right, so they have 10,000 tracks. 10,575 tracks that you can use in your business. Information, copy song link. There we go. So you get the right, let me see. Let me search for it. They got my song in this one. No, they don't got it. But you can play it. So that's some of the Facebook music, right? Let's play this one. And again, the cool thing, I'm not super familiar with Facebook, but I'm pretty sure you have the same rights as YouTube. You have the same rights as YouTube. And the cool thing is that most instances, you can download these files and then you can use them elsewhere. You can use them elsewhere. And so, as an example, we were talking about WeVideo, Kapwing. Like, I could download this into Kapwing, use the music as long as I attribute the right source and do what the platform is suggesting that I do. So on Facebook, you would have to be familiar with their licensing, whatever, and do it that way. But they have everything you need here. Now let's go over to the sound effects. Credit card slam. Okay. Drum roll, please. Fire. So all the sound effects you need. Oh, that sounds like, oh yeah, it is Happy Birthday. All right, heart. All right, you get the point. They got all these sounds, they got everything in here for you, right? So now let's go over to, this is why I typically like the softwares that I typically suggest is like, I like kind of like one and done or one and all solutions. So in this case, Kapwing is a really good one in all solution, right? So I'm gonna go to Kapwing. Oh, and let me grab that Facebook Creator Studio link for y'all. Facebook Creator, and I'll drop that link in the chat like I did the YouTube one. All right, this is giving me, all right, Facebook Creators Studio. Copy link address, and there you go. This is the Facebook Creator Studio link. So you can go get the music and the sounds that you need from Facebook if you're using Facebook as your main thing, right? Now, let's go over to Kapwing. I got a lot of stuff in here in Kapwing. Let's see. Let's do a new project. Let's zoom in. I'm gonna start blank, and Kapwing is cool. I don't remember everything they got going on right now, but they got a lot of cool stuff in here too. So if I were making a video, as an example, let's do videos. Let's see what kind of videos I got in here. All right, so this is the cool thing about Kapwing. They got, and WeVideo has this stuff too, but Kapwing is free, and Kapwing is just faster. Kapwing is great for quick and dirty. Like I'm trying to get this done ASAP, and I'm all about getting stuff done ASAP. So if I'm making a video as an example, you got all this stuff over here. You got text, video, images, like all this stuff, and you get to just use, right? So audio, you get to record certain stuff, and there they go. They got their free music. There you go. They get their free music from Unminus and High Pass. So you got those sounds in there, and you can start to use some of this music. You have the right to use this music. But so like we were talking about earlier, if you start to use this music, guess what? Who's not aware of it? YouTube and Facebook, right? Or they may be, but they're just complications. So what people say about the arm's length thing, like it's a little bit too far away for them to know immediately. So while you're doing this or while you're challenging and using this music, they can be like, hey, shut that down. We don't know whose music that is. And then you're waiting for your video, or there's certain stuff wrong with your video, instead of the video playing and doing what it is that it needs to be done, because you're using like a third-party software or third-party licensing. So that's why typically it's better to stay within the platform, right? If you want to get stuff done. If you want to be super fancy and all that stuff, then maybe this stuff is worth the headache for you. But I don't find it to be worth the headache. So this is the music in Kapwing. They even got it listed by, like, I guess, moods. So happy, energy. Okay, lo-fi. I never knew what lo-fi is, but they got all this music in here. So as an example, what was our title today? We were doing a video on, what were we doing a video on? This is what we were doing. Our video was about this. So now you're about to get a tutorial on Kapwing really quickly. I haven't used it in a while, but still natural. And I get to use this stuff, all this B-roll and these image content. I get to use it just because like they gave me the license to use it, and you don't get in as much trouble with videos and images as you do with music, because the algorithms don't always understand what's going on in the videos as much as they do with the music. So let me see. I'm always talking to my real estate peeps. Let me see if they got some real estate videos in here. Here we go. I'll add that in there. So pop, you see how I just popped that in there? There's a video. That's what it's going to look like. And let's pop some music in besides my background music, right? So over here, I'm going to hit audio. Then I'm going to hit some happy, right? Since I'm so, Jerome, you're so serious. I'll put some happy music in there for y'all. There we go. All right. Let's zoom back in. So if I go over here, I'm just playing around with the timeline here. So I just made a quick video. You do this with whatever content you need to do it with. This is how my video would come out. And you can make it as fancy or as plain or as simple as you want. But you have the right to use all of this stuff inside of Copywriting. This is like a one and done platform that I appreciate. Like everything's here. You don't have to go find pictures. You don't have to go find music. Everything is right here already. So that's why I like WeVideo. That's why I like Copywriting. It's like they're like one and done platforms, and some other ones are too, but these ones are typically the easier. They're powerful, and the tech expertise behind them are great. So I'm pretty sure I answered the question and more on why YouTube and social media platforms, why they copyright strike your music. The bottom line is they're not aware of whatever agreements and licensing that you have with third-party softwares. They're not aware. So their algorithms automatically shut that stuff down. And typically, as long as you have it in an agreement, like a web agreement or some kind of license agreement, like, hey, I have the right to use this, they'll say, okay, and they'll lift the ban. But to me, it's not worth it. Because who knows when they're going to get to that email. And it's not long all the time, but it's just not worth the frustration. I just want to post my content and know that it's going to be there working and done. I don't have to challenge the copyright strike and lift it. I don't want to do any of that stuff. So that's why YouTube does it. That's why Facebook does it. That's why any social media platform does it. And they have to protect themselves. And again, like I said, I completely understand. I would do the same thing. Ask for forgiveness instead of permission. And they're placing a liability on you, which is not fair to your business. So my suggestion is that you take some of the stuff that we did here today, as in if you're going to do YouTube, try to stick within the YouTube platform, try to use their music, their resources. If you're going to do Facebook, try to stick within their platform. Use Facebook, and Facebook and Instagram are the same, essentially, right? So Facebook music library, the stuff that we saw today, you can use that on Instagram. So use that stuff on Instagram. I'm not too sure about LinkedIn, TikTok, and some of the other platforms and their licensing, right? But they probably have libraries for you to use their content as well. So I would just do my best to stick within that platform. It's just music. Nobody cares that much. They don't care as much as you care. It's just some background music. They really care about the content and the education that you're giving. That's what should be your focus. All right. So I'm Jerome Lewis, all about that implementation. I appreciate you watching, and I will see you. No, I'm not going to see you, right? I got some new books. You see a whole row of books back there. They finally came in. If you want one of those, hit me up. I'll send it to you. The other ones are on the way, but I updated the cover. That's not the updated cover, but get yourself one of my books. I'll send you one if you want. So, yeah, that's it. I'm done. I didn't know this video would be as long as it would, but hopefully that clarifies some stuff. The bottom line is they do that to reduce liability on themselves. They place the liability on you. And to me, it's not worth it. Just use what they give you. So I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the other side.